home buying journey started out with choosing my realtor. And that decision was pretty easy. I have a friend who I felt comfortable with. She's very savvy in the market. She and her husband have been flipping houses for several years, and she's really detailed and very patient. But she also was very good at helping me to remember the cost side of things. So I not only had non-negotiables with the things that I wanted in my house, but I also, since I'm a CPA, I'm very good with numbers. I wanted to stick to my budget, and my budget was $225,000 max. That is after negotiations, closing costs, and everything. I ultimately wanted to be about $10,000 or $15,000 lower than that, but my cutoff was $225,000. So when Stephanie and I sat down, she started kind of giving me some options. And like with any city, there's definitely different neighborhoods that are more prime. And one of the neighborhoods that I really wanted is close to a pool and a park. And the only problem I was running into was any of the neighborhoods that I liked, especially this one, they all needed work. And I hate home projects. Hate them.
And I love them.
So Veronica and I disagreed a lot on that piece in particular. You know, my biggest pet peeve is things not being perfect, lined up, symmetrical, you know, flooring matching. Really, in essence, I could have probably walked into a new house and been okay with that part of it, but I didn't want a new house. I wanted something that had been lived in. But being a perfectionist and staying on a
Ghostbuster
on a budget were not necessarily the perfect cocktail for finding your dream house in Manhattan. So that is kind of how it all started. I looked at probably about 10 to 12 houses, and every single one of them needed work. Every single one of them. And eventually, after about the 10th one, I started getting so discouraged. And I'm a CPA. I'm a perfectionist. I'm detailed. I'm a decision maker. This should not have taken as long as it was taking. So I started getting really discouraged. My realtor was being really good about not allowing me to settle. Which I kind of got to the point where I was like, I'm just going to pick a house, or run pick up for me, which I would have done. There was a couple of houses that, before I found the one that I chose, that I could have chosen. One of them in particular was perfect. It had all new siding, a roof, the inside was cute, but the only problem was the people who lived there for 17 years were smokers. And I literally was going to have to rip up every single piece of flooring, repaint, take out the cabinets, essentially gut the inside to get the smell out. I wasn't willing to do that. I wasn't willing to spend that much cash up front, and honestly, the thought of having to do that on top of working full time and being a single mom and trying to just kind of stay afloat in my own life, that kind of home renovation project was not something that I was willing to take on. So throughout the process, I vented my discouragement and frustration and not being able to find the perfect house with Veronica. And
I guess I had some perspective because my husband and I just bought an old farmhouse, so we are truly really gutting the whole thing. So I guess when Johnny told me she was gonna have to move some floor or change some flooring and kind of do that with one of the houses you saw, I could easily see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it didn't seem as big of a deal to me. But obviously Johnny's in a lot different situation. All of those, like she said, just decision making can really wear on your mind, and so I try to just offer her some support and letting her know that it is not that hard. It does take decision making, but letting her know that we could help her make those decisions, or I could just make them for you.
That's pretty much what I want.
Design your house if you want.
I was like, Veronica, stop trying to be so laissez-faire about it. We've got to make a decision here, and I don't want to have a ton of work on my shoulders. So after we saw the smokehouse, and we saw another house in the meantime, and it was kind of different. Like it was kind of weird. It had all hardwood flooring, but the setup was just kind of crazy, but it kind of matched my personality. But also I felt like there was maybe like some ghosts that could have possibly been living there. It was kind of older. So that was a no-no. But then I came, Stephanie set up a couple of new viewings one Sunday, and I kind of was like, fine, you know, we're going to go look at another house, and I'm not going to like it. It's going to take a lot of work, or it's going to, you know, be over my budget. And it was kind of like God opened up the sky and shone a light down onto this house that I saw. Not really, but when I walked inside, I immediately just kind of felt like I could live there. It was a home. It was built in the 80s, so not new. It's a split level. Great neighborhood. It's within biking distance of this pool and park that I love, and the kids take swimming lessons there. It had all hardwood flooring except in the basement, which was finished, and I was able to get that part of it. But it had all hardwood flooring. It had granite countertops. The living space was separated, not completely closed off from the kitchen. There's a big open... Bless you. There's a big open kitchen, but it's still a little bit closed off from the dining space. And because it's split level, it kind of had that separation that I was looking for. So the living space was different from the sleeping spaces, and
gives it some character, a little
it gave it
cozier feel.
It gave some character, and it was much smaller than our current house. Our current house is 3,100 square feet, and I was honestly looking to downsize. I did not want something that large. I can't keep up with that. Like, keeping up with life in general right now is enough for me. I don't want to have to keep up with a house that's huge. But even though this house is much smaller, it's 1,900 square feet, it was laid out really well. The bedroom sizes would fit our furniture. The bathrooms, there's 3 full baths, and that's plenty of room for us. The basement is super cute. It was finished off, and it has a fireplace, and it has a room, which is another reason why I wanted a finished basement was because my oldest, she's really struggled with the divorce, and the one thing that she wanted was a space to make a movie room. With a big TV and a popcorn maker, and the space was perfect for it. Our favorite movie is The Greatest Showman, so I am known to maybe sing along and do some dance moves to it. So this space not only had enough Yes, get her. Not only
It's your favorite movie, not mine.
not only had enough space to do that, but it also had enough space, not too much space for me to feel overwhelmed with having to keep up with it. So after that, I pretty much walked out of that house and I said, that's the one. Kind of like Veronica
No
said.
ghosts.
No ghosts.
Or no ghosty vibes.
But on that note, I did, before I made an offer, contact my medium, and I had her do a clearing of the house just to kind of get a feeling as to what, spirits were living there. And she got back to me and she said she got good feelings from it. It was welcoming. But we're still going to do an in-person clearing of the house to make sure that there are, in fact, no ghosties. Bless you. Holy cow. What's wrong with you?
There's something in this room.
Okay.
Maybe there's a ghost in this room.
Okay, cut it.